Cool, guys. Welcome to our second community outreach call. We do have a fun agenda today, but before we dive into that, I just want to make you guys aware of the antitrust policy notice. So if you're not familiar with this, I will be sharing the slides after this call, as well as its liability code of conduct. Please, all members must adhere to this. Okay. So, instead of me talking about the boring things today, we've got a super exciting agenda. As usual, we've got our introduction. So, any new members on the call today, please feel free to introduce yourself. Number two is the purpose of these calls. I might or might not be going over this depending on how many new people are on the call today. We do have exciting updates today, so new components coming, as you guys may or may not be aware of. Esteban will also be talking a little bit about the new official name of our project. Release 2.9 introduction. I'm going to be handing over to Javi. And then the release notes, I'll be handing that over to Yuri to take us through our release notes, some of the new features, etc., that we can expect. We do have a very exciting community spotlight section. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I don't want to be a spoiler. And then last but not least, we will do a section on how to do contributions for those that are not aware of how to do that. I'll be handing over to Esteban to walk us through that. And last but not least, the Ask Us Anything section where we really want some feedback from the community. If you guys do have questions, please feel free to chat with us there. Okay, so do we have any new participants at the moment? Anyone new on the call? Look.
Fayad, can I go before Javier because I need to jump to another meeting in half an hour?
Sure. Javi's also going to be quite quick. I know he's going to go as well. Okay, maybe what we could do is instead of Esteban, I'll get Javi and Yuri. You guys can go first. Okay, so let's get into it then. Javi, Yuri, I'm gonna stop presenting now and hand over to the two of you.
Okay, so let me share my desktop. And first of all, we have a special repository when we keep our releases and information about releases. Probably you know that we use conventional commits and we generate release notes automatically based on the commit history between different tags. So if you want to contribute, you also need to follow this conventional commits way of creating new PRs, and your contribution will be added to next monthly release. Okay? Я трошки зайнятий, у мене мітинг. And I'm trying to share my screen. So, do you see it right now?
Yes.
There is a Tala releases repository. In a couple of weeks, it will be moved under Hyperledger. So you will have access to this repository. And currently we have around 9 platform releases that are showed here. And the latest one is version 2.9. And currently our engineering team is working on a 2.10 version of platform. And if you open the file, you can see which components were updated. So there are 3 services and
excuse me, Yuri, there is a 2.10 release up there.
It's not here. It's a lot changed.
No, it's below 2.1.
Sure.
Yeah, below 2.1 is 2.10.
Do you see it? Oh, it's here.
Yep.
Thank you because I just scrolling down. So you can see the version of components that correspond to this platform release. There are 3 microservices and 4 libraries. As you know, we have a crypto library and the wallet SDK for 3 different languages. And we have a beautiful page with particular version changes. And for each component, we have details what was added and what was introduced in this release. I will cover topics about Open Enterprise Agent and a little bit about Mediator, because currently engineer who worked on Mediator cannot attend this meeting. So we integrated unknown creds and added end-to-end integration test for unknown creds. We also added kind of hardening to the API and introduced two roles, admin and tenant in the Keycloak. So if you're going to use Keycloak, each of your users can be added to particular roles, and the administrator of the Keycloak can perform REST API calls and manage agent, but administrator cannot own the wallet. We strictly segregated these roles. And the regular tenant might behave as an issuer, holder, or verifier. So we introduced this hardening in this release. And we added schema validation for JSON. So for credential schema, there is a meta schema that describes credential schema JSON as a schema. And we currently validate this schema, so you cannot publish some bad data to the schema, because bad request error will be returned. And we fixed a couple of issues with schema response body, timeouts in HTTP calls. We have HTTP client that communicates over DITCOM, and we started to introduce trace ID to our REST calls to easy find the errors. So if you add header trace ID to your REST API calls and something doesn't work, you can add this trace ID to the bug report, and it will be much easier for us to find the root cause of the issue. So sooner or later, this traceability will be added to all endpoints of Open Enterprise Agent and Mediator services. And in the Mediator, guys, we're focused on WebSocket support. It's a new feature that we currently have, and it allows you to replace long pooling pattern that you usually use between any SDK and the Mediator with WebSocket connection. So as soon as someone sends you a message over DITCOM, this message will be automatically delivered to your SDK or in web or mobile application if you have active WebSocket connection. And in order to introduce this WebSocket support, the specification of DITPure was adapted to the latest version in order to show two different endpoints for DITCOM connection. So currently we support HTTP connection for DITCOM protocol and WebSocket connection. The examples can be found in documentation. I can send it on demand if you want to see, because I need to find it. And yep, we also fixed a couple of issues and added roles to WebSocket to API6 in order to expose this port outside. It's a short introduction of the coming release. Do you have any questions? Or I can show you also one useful tool that you can use to better understand particular protocols or use cases. Okay, no question. Then I will open my IntelliJ IDEA, and as you know, we have a directory test and integration test that where we have end-to-end test written as BDD scenarios, and you can find in resources folder. Where's resources folder? Yep, here. All the features are described as BDD scenarios, and if you want to know more details about how particular use case works, you can open scenarios and read it as a live documentation. And if you run all these tests with test config basic, concrete Prism node version, and either latest or version of Open Enterprise agent that is built from scratch, like SBT, Docker, Publish Local, all these scenarios will be executed. And after executing all these scenarios, you're gonna have a report with tests. It looks like a report that 26 scenarios passed. And for instance, if you want to figure out how to use unknown threads in issuance flow, you can go to the scenario issuing unknown threads with publisher PrismDid, and there is a step-by-step flow that covers this use case. For instance, you can find that issuer creates an unknown threads schema. And here you can see that if you have the endpoint, you need to send this payload, and the schema for unknown threads will be created. Then issuer creates unknown thread schema definition. Same here. You can see the endpoint. It's a test endpoint, but in production, you need to replace it with a particular prefix here. And the body that you should send to the cloud agent in order to create the credential definition, public and private parts. So it's going to be, it's a kind of live response, how does the credential definition public part should look for you if you use it from your SDK or your application. And then you can see the example of the credential offer that is sent from the issuer to the holder. So it's a credential offer. Holder receives a credential offer. It's just a step validate, and holder accept credential offer for unknown threads. So this is a query that holder should send to the agent in order to accept this offer. And after this, issuer issues unknown threads to the holder. So that's how does it work. Just a good example how you can use our test suites and discover different scenarios, like creating connections, issue credential protocols with two types of credentials, creating and updating DID, work with DID, perform wallet management, work with credential schemas, and other endpoints. I guess it might be useful for you. Good. I am done. Any questions, comments? And yeah, if you want to contribute or add particular use case scenarios, you can either collaborate with the engineering team or try to implement it in Kotlin and the BDD Cucumber. There is plenty of predefined steps that you can reuse, and you can add particular variations that you want to use in your application. Having the test that fails for some reason will help us to fix the issue much faster. So imagine that something doesn't work, I don't know, some corner case or your specific scenario, and just copy paste issue credential protocol with your input, and we will figure out what's wrong much faster.
Awesome.
Good, Esteban and Fayad, I'm done. Thank you guys for your attention.
Great update. Javi, I know you need to also be occupied soon, so I'm gonna stop talking and hand over to you.
Correct. Let me try and share the screen really quick. I will go through the latest release, the 2.10 release. Okay. So Yeah, we are bringing small changes into Pluto. Pluto is the storage layer that we had, and one of the open community projects that I started, but that then other people in the community contributed, is Pluto Encrypted. And the issues that we had with Pluto Encrypted is that any change that we had mainly in the Pluto interface, so every single time that we make changes, we require to upgrade another library, causing some disruption and requiring some upgrades for the users, and we didn't think that was a good strategy. I will try to let you read at least. Hold on. Okay, better. So yeah, then other implementations always can exist, but yeah, Pluto Encrypted is bringing schemas, ORM, and static functions and schema migrations. What does that mean? It means that we can be upgrading data. In this scenario, the package needs to be upgraded, but the data can be manipulated without any intervention from you guys, developers. So you would basically upgrade the schema and the migration will be done automatically. The problem again is that we do not want to reinvent the wheel, but we want to reduce that friction that we identified. So yeah, the goals again, continue having the functionality that RxDB is bringing us, but bringing two things to our SDK. One is schemas, so we control what does it mean a credential exactly in terms of attributes, and we can also control the migration paths. So this basically means that from now on, there will not be breaking changes in Pluto, and in case there are breaking changes, we will build migration functions that will be covered by tests that will ensure that data can be safely upgraded. So yeah, then in terms of contents, a lot of breaking changes in Pluto. That's something that is really not required for everyone to just upgrade for now. But yeah, it's bringing a lot of improvements, and in the future we will have a great benefit. Then we have added mediator live mode, as Yuri has said, on the mediator. So on the TypeScript SDK, I've also implemented the mediator side, the mediation live mode. So for pickup protocol, we are now using WebSockets, as Yuri is saying, and the mobile app, the TypeScript SDK for now will choose WebSockets on top of HTTP in case they are both defined. But in case any of you say that if they are both defined, you guys still want to use HTTP, like feel free to open an issue and we will be happy to discuss that. Then as you see, generate fixes on the JTI field on the JWT credentials. And the rest is just about Pluto. And yeah, I've attached a link to the release changelog, but it's the same link that you guys can see on the GitHub repository. And yeah, that's pretty much like that. They are breaking changes in terms of like the amount of classes that are changing, but they will not bring breaking changes in terms of your implementation or not much. It's like 5 or 6 lines of different code and everything will work. And we will totally support the storages that we already built. And we have LevelDB storage, which is encrypted. We have IndexedDB storage, which is encrypted. And we also have an in-memory storage, which is encrypted just for the matter of encrypting, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense anyway. So yeah, that's it. Any questions or doubts?
Thanks for that, Abby. That was great. Are there any questions on the line for Abby? At all? Nothing.
That's a good sign. Yeah. Nice.
That is a good sign. That is a good sign. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, to continue, we do have quite a bit of exciting updates. So Javier, you've just gone over the release and the SDK. Esteban, I'm going to hand over to you with regards to the new components that are going to be coming to Hyperledger, as well as the official new name.
Okay, so well, I guess most of the people present in the call already know this, but go back 1 second. Basically, the new name Identus has been approved by Hyperledger, so it's the name that we will be using for the overall project. We have plans to move additional components to Hyperledger. That basically means the mediator, the Edge SDKs, that also includes the documentation website, and also the Apollo cryptographic library. And probably other components as well are going to be coming to Hyperledger in the future. But those are the ones that are probably be part of this Identus project sooner. Other thing is that the documentation site basically is the repository of the ataladocs.io. Repository is now public. Before it was private. So if you guys find any issue in the documentation, maybe a typo or something that is not clear enough, you can raise an issue in that repository, or you can also contribute directly as well. So that is public now. Can you move to the next slide? So this is a roadmap, not exactly a roadmap, it's more like a road list. But the idea is that we wanted to share with you guys a little bit of visibility of what are the things that are in the scope to be working on. So I collected this on from the internal tracking system that we use, which is Jira, just to give a little bit of visibility on what are the things that are at least in the pipeline. I cannot give you timelines yet of when these features are going to be arrived, but at least I wanted to share with you what is there. So there are things related to support verification in the SDKs. As you know, right now the SDKs cannot trigger the verification process. So that is something that is in there. There is a work related to backup and restore on the SDKs, selective disclosure, JWT, issuance and verification. There is some work related to the design of the PDR storage, a little bit related with the discussion that we had in the past related to the Prism node and all that stuff. There is some work related to anon creds going on, improvements on the error handling of the agent, basically it's improvements on the logs. And also there was an ADR related to this that you can check it out in the repository directly if you want to have more details. There are also plans of including OpenID for verifiable credential issuance and OpenID for verifiable presentations. The implementation of the DITCOM report problem protocols for the agent, mediator, and the SDKs. There are some plans related to the universal resolver, creating a driver for the DIT Prism method. And also there was a topic there around connectionless presentation. I'm not sure how evolved that one is. And finally, we have a revocation of selective disclosure JWT credentials. So there is quite a lot of things in there. And I just wanted to give you an overview of the things that are in the plans. And
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say thank you.
Yeah, and basically these are the updates that I have. And I guess we can continue. Was there any additional topic for me to?
Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
This is a pretty big list. So if you guys haven't caught all of this, we will make the presentation available with the meeting minutes a little bit later after the call once the recording has been uploaded to YouTube. Okay, now on to I think the more exciting part of the call, which is our community spotlight. I'll be handing over to Roberto and John from CSign to give us a little bit of an update and a little bit of an understanding of what the Catalyst project is about. So without further ado, John, Roberto, the floor is yours.
Cool. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see those slides? Yes, okay. All right, thanks everyone. As Esteban mentioned, the name of the project is changing to Identis, which I love. The community voted on that name, and as a companion to the new name, we are writing a book called Mastering Identis, a Developer's Handbook. And today I want to talk more about the project and how everyone can be involved.
So on flight 3, 2, 5, 3, 3 open door marks B as in Bravo 18.
Hold on a second.
3 minutes, 3 minutes, last call.
Oops. Sorry, I lost my mouse. Ah. Sorry, hold on. Can you guys still hear me or?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah.
The demo go.
Okay. I've got a hold on a second. I've got a beach
We
ball
saw the
here.
slideshow,
Can't-
yeah, but I think something happened on the slideshow.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me see if I can switch to a PDF. No, I got a beach ball. Hold on. Man. Does anyone else have anything to do? I can restart, come right back. I don't know what's going on. Is there something else? 1 second.
Hello, I'm Phoenix City Council Chair Roberts.
Hold on, I'm quitting my slides. Hold on. Let's come back. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's try this again.
Mhm.
Apologies. Okay. Oh. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I think. I
That's
get a beach
odd.
ball every time I.
Yeah, when you go to full screen, just present with
Yeah.
in that mode basically.
Yep. I'm trying. Sorry, guys. The Mac is freaking out. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's just do it this way.
Mhm.
Don't look at the left. Don't look at the left side. It's a surprise. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, see, I can't even. Okay, let's see how long I can go. Anyway, my bad. Apologies. So, Mastering Identis, the developer's handbook. It's a practical guide to building self-sovereign identity applications with Identis. The authors, it's me, John Bauer, and Roberto Carvajal, who's also on the phone here. And Albert Einstein said the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library, which I think is true. And first of all, in relation to that, I want to shout out the amazing existing references, the books and documentation that do exist. So first of all, there's the Blueprint book, which is the self-sovereign identity book. If you're interested in building apps on Identis or just with SSI, this is a must read. In fact, we're hoping this is sort of a prerequisite to anything that we might produce. And also just the Atala Prism docs themselves are great. Shout out to Peter and the whole team. It's really excellent resource. There's tutorials, there's installation docs, it'll get you started. Everything you need pretty much is in these two documents here. However, with all documentation, there's what it looks like to read it and the happy path, and then there's actually like the real world experience. Roberto and I, we learned a lot while we were building CSign. CSign is an agreement signing service powered by Identis and Cardano, built by Good Future. And on CSign, you can sign, certify, and verify any sort of agreement. And it's up at www.csign.io if you want to take a look. And we learned a lot by actually building something here. And we thought, we're learning a lot of edge cases and stuff here. Maybe we should write a book. And Seneca said, while we teach, we learn. And as we were building this, we were learning more and more. And we thought, best way to kind of confirm that we actually have learned this stuff is to, sort of reflect back to the community. So we made a proposal in Project Catalyst Fund 11. There's a link there if you want to check it out. And amazingly enough, thanks to anybody out here who voted, we were funded. We're really humbled and excited to write this resource for the community. Let's go over the project goals. So complement. So the existing docs are absolutely great. We do not want to have too much overlap between the book and the existing documentation. As I mentioned, it's kind of a prerequisite, the SSI book, the Atala Prism docs, and then mastering Identis. We aim to focus on problem solving at production scale, actually launching in production, maintenance of nodes, servers, everything we learned about sort of launching in production. We do want to include, so we're actively consulting and accepting feedback from the entire community. That's everybody here and others. And we hope that this book will just help promote promote Identis, increasing adoption. Go over quickly the milestones. Again, this is a Project Catalyst project, so everything is public. These are all encoded on the Catalyst blockchain now. But just real quick to go over the timeline here. The project officially started yesterday, actually. And that's what we call M1, milestone 1. And there's some other data if you go over in the Project Catalyst milestones, there's some other deliverables, but I'm just going to cover the high level stuff here, the important stuff. So in our first milestone, we're basically going to come up with the table of contents. That will obviously drive the production of the book and sort of lay out the roadmap for all the content that we want to cover. And then due in July is the first draft of the text of the book. In October, we will have alpha versions of example apps. So the book will also come with example apps in all of the SDKs. So we'll pick an example app. I think that's, we're also doing an M1, is picking an example app idea, and there'll be a Kotlin, Swift, TypeScript, Open API, basically an example app in all three of those. And so people can actually see how these things are built. And then in December, we'll have the second draft about the text and the apps with a bunch of feedback. And we're aiming for January 2025 to have the final draft and to publish the book. So currently, like I said, just started. We have our writing production pipeline set up, and we've set up a project website, which will hopefully get prettier over time. And you can sort of connect with us there. We're working on the first draft of the table of contents now. All within milestone 1, we'll have the final draft, and we still have to decide on the example app idea, and of course, a bunch of research as we dive deeper into what we want to cover. As a reminder, we're writing this book for all of you. The book and the example apps will be available as open source under an MIT license or similar permissive license, but I think we're going to settle on MIT. And the book will be in English and Spanish. Roberto will be translating everything into Spanish. So we also hope that that will be very valuable in terms of adoption. So how can you help? Well, you can follow us. We set up this site at identisbook.com. There's not too much there right now. We just set it up this weekend. Discord, the Atala Discord, we're always in there. So please interact with us. Feel free to, talk out loud, hopefully, so everyone can see the communication, but also feel free to DM us if you have particular questions or you have ideas. We've also set up something in the project hub for the book. So feel free to comment there. And we may post updates there as we get like the table of contents and all that stuff done. You can follow there. As we get further into the year, based on those milestones, we will probably have text of the book published on the website or some form or fashion. There's to be an open GitHub as well. So if you can help us review text, proofread, that would be awesome. As well as we start working on the example apps, feel free to review the code, help us find bugs. That would be great. And that's about it. Thank you. Again, there's an email there if you want to contact us. The website there, and that's the C sign. The milestone address at the bottom, that's the official Project Catalyst milestone. Everything is public, Catalyst style, so feel free to go there if you want to follow along. And yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I just have one question. Could you send this presentation to me so I can share it with the community after this call? And
Yeah, sure, sure.
an amazing project, a really amazing project. Are there any questions online for John and Roberto?
No questions, but I am really looking forward to see the book getting done. Yeah,
Me too.
very nice contribution.
And the spoiler is that we will be pinging all of you for to answer our nagging questions as we get deeper into this. So you will not
Yeah.
escape our wrath.
I'll help you guys with that. I'll help you guys nag them. Awesome. Okay. Thanks again, John and Robert, for that. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be an exciting year ahead. Okay. Last few things that we have up for today. Obviously corporate contributions, and shout outs to our community members. I'm going to hand over to Esteban shortly just to walk us through how you guys can go ahead and contribute. But there's a couple of reasons why you should contribute. Obviously, number one, you gain hands-on experience and enhance your skills in this technology. You collaborate with like-minded individuals from all around the world. I think that's really cool. You make a meaningful impact in the SSI industry by contributing to, I think, one of the most cutting-edge projects out there. You boost your visibility in the open source community. Yeah, and I think there's a number of more reasons. But before we dive into that, Esteban, I'm going to hand over to you to show people how they can go ahead and contribute if they do want to.
Yeah, so let me share my screen very quickly. I think you need to stop sharing.
Sorry. Here we go.
No? What I am hearing, Tatala Prism Docs.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so basically one of the easiest ways to contribute is by reporting bugs. To do that, basically you go to the corresponding repository. Right now, because it's about the Hyperledger Lab, the only one who is hosted under this initiative is this one. You basically come here, click on issues, you click on the green button, and here you can do a bug report, and you can also do a feature request. Really, it's very straightforward. You click the get started, you put a title for your issue or book, put a description, give context of your error, provide details about the environment where you are executing your thing when it failed, and any other remark that you want to do, and then you submit the issue. So basically, after you do this, a new issue is going to be created here in this table. We frequently are reviewing the things that the community raises in here. You can see that we have quite a few items that have already been sorted out. Many of them have already been raised by community members. So just a reminder that that option is there. Also, if at some point you want to do code contributions, remember that the repositories have the contributing.md file, and the details on how to contribute to the code base are in here. So there are some things in there related to signing off the commits and all the stuff. But if you are in the position of contributing code, come here, take a look at the guide. All the details are mentioned in here. And also, well, other low-hanging fruit for contributions is the documentation side. It's very common that there are typos or misspellings or things that are not clear enough in the documentation. So this one is still not on the Hyperledger, but in any case is related. You can as well come here and do the same process of raising a documentation issue in here. We don't have the template set up yet. We just make this public recently, but you can provide your details as well in case you find something that needs to be sorted out. And basically that's it. I'm not sure if anyone has a question related to contributions. Nope, I guess we are good, Fayet.
Cool. We have come to the last part of our call today, which is the Ask Us Anything section. This section is basically for you guys as a community member to go ahead and ask anything you'd like answered. So yeah, is there any questions online? Sure, no questions. Cool. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I'm just going to do a quick comment related to the Identus domain, because I have here a lot of comments around that from different places. So basically, Hyperledger preferences for the websites of their projects is to use the hyperledger.org website. So if you see there, you have hyperledger.org/project/aries or /fabric or /. So eventually, once we get our project approved, we are in the process of doing that. We will have hyperledger/project/identus. So that will be like the landing website for our project. Since we have the identus.io domain from John that he proactively got for us, thank you very much. What we are going to do is use that domain to redirect to the Hyperledger website. So that way we can use identus.io as a shorthand URL to talk about the project, so it will be used. And I don't know, maybe in the future we can have another used for the domain, but for now, pretty much that's the approach that we are going to follow.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that update. Are there any questions, for Esteban following that update? Nothing. Okay. Then I think we've come to the end of our session. Thanks everyone for joining. I will be posting the meeting minutes a little bit later after the call. Sometimes the recording is a little bit iffy, so it might only be tomorrow that it gets uploaded to YouTube, and then we'll post the meeting minutes. But thank you everybody for joining, and I'll see you next week at the maintainer and contributor call. See you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.